What is going on, guys? Kenny here from 619 Guitars and Gear, and today I'm going to walk you through the process of me installing this EMG 8185 set with the preamp boost switch into my Ibanez Jem Jr. and turning this thing from a shredder to an absolute chug machine. It was not easy by any means, but we did it, and it was a lot of fun. So, as always, let's get into it. Alright, so I have everything here that I would like to get installed into the Ibanez Jem Jr. We have basically our whole quick connect setup. I know there's a lot of pros and cons about the quick connects. Some people don't like them. They say you're not getting the same solid connection as soldering, which I could see, but from my experience, I don't really notice any difference myself. Yeah, you can always run the risk of something coming loose, but it's never happened to me. So that's what we're going to go with. I did rob all this from a different guitar, just something I don't play as much, and I'd rather have a setup like this and a guitar that I play a lot more. In the review for the Jem Jr., I did say I love those pickups, which I do. I really like the Infinity pickups, but I'd rather have some active pickups. I'm a huge fan of EMGs and a huge fan of Fishmans. Would I'd rather put some Fishmans in it? Probably, but for the time being, we're going to go with the EMGs. I do have the preamp boost switch, which is awesome. I love this thing, especially for cleans. This thing just really makes a difference. It's almost pretty much like having a built-in overdrive in your guitar. But we got volume tone, all our pickup wires, EMG 8185. We have our junction box. The only thing I have to figure out is what switch I'm going to use. Do I want to use the original 5-way switch and try to get that to work? Even though we have a middle pickup, I don't have a different pick guard, so that's the main issue. If I had a different pick guard, I would just put the 2 EMGs in it and call it a day. But I'm probably going to leave the middle pickup in. Now, do I want to make the middle pickup work? I'm pretty sure I can get it to work and have 2 actives and 1 passive pickup. I've done that before. But is that going to sound good with the 25K pots? I'm not really sure. Can we get it to work with the quick connect system? I'm not really sure. So those are all things I have to figure out. If worse comes to worse, I will leave the middle pickup there, but it will be disconnected. I don't really use that thing anyway. To me, it's just in the way. I always lower them because my hand hits it when I'm chugging or whatever. So I really would love to have a different pick guard. I can get one on Reverb, I believe. But for the time being, we're just going to have to go with what we have. So I'm going to have to just figure it out as we go, but this is everything we got. Let's go ahead and grab the Jem Jr. and start getting that thing disassembled. Alright, first thing I'm going to do is remove the strings, then we'll probably just take off the bridge altogether just to get it out of the way. Then remove all our screws for the pick guard and go from there. All right, so we got all the old stuff out. Sitting here thinking, I think I might just use the three-way switch that was hooked up with the EMG system in the other guitar. Yeah, we won't have that working middle pickup, but I never use that thing anyway, so I might just stick it in there as a dummy, maybe try to find a black cover for it, or maybe the pink will look fine for now. It sucks that it won't work, but like I said, I never really use that thing anyway, and until I get maybe a new pick guard, we'll just have to make do with what we have. And I know that other three-way switch will work. I can probably get this to work, but with the passive center pickup and the active bridge and neck pickups, I think it's just going to be really weird to get to work. I'm sure there's a way to do it if I sat here and thought about it long enough, but I kind of just want to get this done. Really, ideally, I'd like to have a new pick guard with just a neck and a bridge pickup. I don't really use center pickups, so... and then another thing I was thinking about, which I'm glad I thought about, I might have to do some routing out of this cavity here. I want to put the PA2 boost switch in between the volume and the tone pot. And in order to do that, this sticks up past the surface of the body about 3 millimeters, 4 millimeters, if that. It depends. I think this is routed on a plane here. So if I go down here, it seems like it'd be good. But if I go right here, it is sticking up a little bit. So I literally just have to take this down in here just a little bit. I probably could just get a couple big drill bits and do it with that, and then clean it up with a chisel, and then you know, touch up my shielding paint and everything. So that's probably what I'm going to have to work on now, because that's a pretty big deal, and I'm glad I thought about it now. So I'm going to get working on that and figure out how I want to approach that. And we'll get that done. All right, so I've been sitting on it for a little while, and I was going to use maybe a Dremel with the router attachment on it, but just the spot that this is at, it's just the bit would stick so far past the attachment that there would just be no control, and it'd be really, really wobbly, and I don't want to mess anything up in here. And then my router is like that big. I got to get a smaller one. My smaller one burnt up a little while back. So thinking about it, I think the easiest thing to do is going to be to use this giant drill bit. I'm going to, tape off my depth. And I really only need to go a little bit down. And this drill bit is pretty much the size of the switch here. So I can maybe I might be able to get away with just drilling one little hole, but I might have to do maybe two next to each other, and then just clean it up with a sharp chisel. And I think that's going to be the best way to go. And then touch it up with some shielding paint. And I basically have the depth here where the switch goes for a reference of how far down I need to go. So I'll probably just stick this in there, tape that off, and then I know my depth. The body is pretty much the same thickness in the back, so I don't have to worry about going too far or anything. I honestly think that's going to be my best bet. So let's get to trying here. All right, so I got this thing chiseled out. It's sanded pretty smooth as best I could get it. I think once we get some shielding paint on there, it'll look absolutely fine. I mean, it looks decent, better than it did. Not like you see it anyway, but I didn't really want to it to look butchered. But even though you don't see it, I still wanted it to be pretty uniform. plenty of room for the switch now, and now I'm going to go ahead and get some shielding paint on there, let it dry, and we'll move on. Alright guys, well the shielding paint has dried, and I have to say I'm pretty happy with the way it came out. Yeah, it could always be better, but I have to say it looks pretty dang good. I should have just followed the shape of this, but it is what it is. I mean, I didn't want to, take out too much. I took out plenty to get to where I need. I probably have probably about 2 or 3 millimeters of wiggle room now, which is exactly what I wanted. But I'm satisfied with how it came out. Let's move on.
Let's try that. Perfect.
Alright, so after playing around a little bit, I had to definitely shim this thing. I found a couple nice washers that don't look horrible. I mean, it's not ideal, but it's nice and tight in there. And it seems to be, I had to kind of play with the angle of the circuit board to make it fit right. But it seems like I found a good sweet spot for it. Everything lines up good, and we still have some clearance. And yeah, I think that looks pretty good. This is going to be cool. So now I think we can concentrate on getting the wiring the way it should be, which is a whole nother thing on its own. Because I've messed with the quick connect system before, but not with the boost switch added. So I have to break out some diagrams, and hopefully we have enough room for all this stuff in here. I'm a little nervous. Not quite sure if we're going to have enough room. Crossing my fingers though. Alright, so I put the volume and tone pot in, and even the little junction box. I put this on the body. Everything seems to fit. That's what I was most worried about was this little junction box here. Hopefully, clearance-wise, we have enough clearance for wires, which we should. Now it's just a matter of getting all this put in. This looks like for the switch, this should be perfect distance from the junction box with the wires that got to go into it. I might have to extend some, not a big deal. But it looks like this might work out. I'm praying. So I'm just going to sit here and do no talking, and I'm just going to figure out this whole wiring. I got the diagram up on the computer, and we're going to try to get this done. So the next problem we're running into, which it's probably a really, really big problem, probably bigger than actually mounting the boost switch, is the battery location. In a perfect world, if I had a pick guard that didn't have the center pickup, I could put the battery in the center pickup route and just run my wires through there, and it would probably work. Obviously, I'm going to be running the middle pickup, just not plugged in for the time being until I get a new pick guard. So that's not an option. Another option is maybe wrapping this thing in electrical tape, making a little case for it so it doesn't ground out on anything, and putting it right here. I may have enough room. I'm not sure if my cavity's deep enough. I have to see. It's below the boost switch, so I might have enough room, but I have to see here. Whew. All right. I haven't been filming because this has been really aggravating, but I got it in there. I don't know how I got it in there. I'm not even going to show you. Everything's pretty neat for the most part. I got wires zip tied, but I got it on and it's sitting nice and flat. Once we get the screws in, it'll be fine. Everything works. I just tested it. I'm going to screw it and send it. I don't want to take it off because I got everything literally positioned perfect. Obviously, the middle pickup is a dummy, like I had mentioned. It looks kind of cool with the black and the pink. Doesn't look all that bad. So, man, this has been one of them really frustrating things, but we got it, and I'm happy. So I'm going to go ahead and get this thing screwed down. I'm going to get this wiped down, and then I think I can get some strings on this bad boy. All right, well, we got it all strung up. Everything works. We'll talk about what I think after, but it was a pain in the butt to get everything to fit. But we did, and it works, so that's all that really matters. I'm going to do a little sound demo, nothing crazy. We'll go through pickup positions and play with the boost switch. I'm not going to do any cleans or anything like that, just so you get a basic idea of what it sounds like. I am plugged into the interface using the updated Plini X plugin from Neural DSP, and it sounds absolutely awesome. So let's test this thing out. well, we're pretty much done here. I have to say I am completely blown away. I loved this guitar when I first got it and put it in drop C, and the stock pickups were awesome. The Infinities, I believe, from Ibanez are probably my favorite Ibanez pickup. I didn't think it could get much better, but I kind of turned it from a shredder to an absolute chug machine. And yeah, some people might be mad that I did that to a Jem, but it is what it is. I think this thing plays great, sounds great too, but a lot of that is obviously contributed to the plugin I'm using. But I think these pickups definitely help with just clarity and more gain, and the boost switch is awesome. I absolutely love the boost switch, and the fact that I only discovered it like last winter. I don't know where I've been all these years, but I think it's an awesome thing, especially for cleans. I don't play in clean that much, but when I do, I think the boost switch definitely helps just give you that nice clean boost. And yeah, this thing is a ton of fun to play. I really kind of had to just adjust the neck a little bit. I put my action at 1.5 millimeters, and it plays absolutely great. I bought a pack, a set of 7-string strings from GHS. It was a 9 to 62 set. I took the 9 out and ran the 11 to 62. They're nice and tight all the way through. I don't really do any kind of leads or solos or anything, so the fact that the G, B, and E string are a little tight doesn't really bother me. But I have it in drop A sharp, so they're tight and it's not flubby or anything. It's nice and crisp sounding, which is what I like, and that's all you can really ask for. So as far as the install of the pickups wasn't that bad. It was just more so of getting everything to fit. I got everything wired up. I got everything wired up easily, but getting it to fit was a pain in the butt. I probably will end up going back and putting the battery here and routing out a spot for it just to clean everything up. Nothing's pinched or really shoved in there. I ended up turning the battery sideways with some Velcro and sticking it right here. There was just enough room. And I put some electrical tape around some spots just so there's no metal touching any connections or anything like that. But there's no cutting out, no buzzing, no nothing. So it's working perfectly. Once I got the pickguard on there to test fit it, I did not want to take it off. So I made sure everything worked, and then I screwed it down. And here we are. The middle pickup is obviously a dummy. I want to get a new pickguard to eliminate the middle pickup, which is just my preference. But I think it looks cool with the pink cover in the middle and the 2 EMGs on the side. But overall, super happy with it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Some of you might be mad that I did something like this to a Jem. Some of you might love it. But to each their own. Had a lot of fun with this video. So as always, thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Like I said, let me know in the comments. Stay safe, be a good person. Don't be afraid to mod your guitars, because it's a real fun thing to do, and you'll get addicted to it. And we'll see you in the next video.